Thank you for joining us here on Brunswick Area Television. My name is Nicholas Hanek. I'm the President of City Council and the Vice Mayor. And with me today is the City Manager and Safety Service Director, Carl DeForest. Thanks for coming on TV today.
Thanks for having me, sir. Glad to be here.
And this is going to be a very exciting show talking about the goal setting session that City Council had on March 2nd, 2026. Some of the results of that session, in which the City Council members and the City Administration and some of those in the community discussed and talked about some of the priorities going forward for the next 2 years. So thank you for joining us. I think this is going to be really, hopefully really interesting and a very exciting few years for the City of Brunswick. So what we talked about for these 2 years were 4 overarching goals, things that we can do and things that we're going to hold ourselves to in the coming years to look at. And those 4 things are: 1, having a connected community; 2, increasing the quality of life of the residents; 3, a concept called smart growth we'll talk about more; and keeping our record of fiscal responsibility. So first off, to talk about having a connected community and how we look at connecting the community here and more in the coming years, I'll turn it over to City Manager DeForest if you want to talk a little bit about how we can continue to work to connect the Brunswick community to others.
Absolutely, sir. So one thing I want to stress is I see goal setting as a short-term roadmap for the next year, 2 years, of where we want to go and how we want to get there. It's like plugging something into your GPS and you got to go through these checkpoints, as opposed to going from East Coast to West Coast. This is kind of a short-term plan. So connected community, we're talking about connecting people and places. And what we want to do is make sure that we're focusing on the infrastructure around the new high school, the Tri-C facility, the library, the rec center, and ensuring that there's safe and easy ways of ingress and egress to those places, from those places, and between those places. So we want to be able to make sure that that's like a downtown campus. That was one thing that was stressed in the goal setting. Another thing is we want to connect with the people. And for instance, the veterans. There's things that we do for the veterans, but we can always do more. I love the veterans, having spent 10 years in the Army myself. They're folks who have stepped up in a time of need and protected our country against enemies, foreign and domestic. We do a lot to give back in the capacity of Trike and Bike. Trike and Bike is a philanthropic opportunity we brought to the city a number of years ago to raise money for pediatric cancer research, and we've raised $237,838 to this point. And we want to integrate that operation into the school because they have the captive audience of the kids that they want to get the information to, so that we can have a bigger and better ride. And this year's ride is September 11th. So we've already had 2 very productive meetings, and we're going to have more in the future. And we got plans for connecting those people to our community and providing opportunities for philanthropic, altruistic events to give back to the community and take a little bit better care of folks. We got to continue the engagement with the state and federal reps. A lot of that came to fruition through lobbying efforts when we were dealing with the enemy to the north, I'll call St. Rongsville, when we're dealing with the legislation which mandated an off-ramp I-71 in Boston. And there's advantages to having open lines of communication with our state reps and federal reps, not only to find out what's going on, but there are funding opportunities that we've been able to capitalize on for infrastructure and park construction and things of this nature. So we want to improve the connectivity with Tri-C, which is the local college campus over by the rec center, and connect with people and places. So that's how I see the connected community goals.
Just one question about this. During the goal setting session, if you could touch on this briefly, we actually had a representative from Tri-C talk a little bit about what their possible plans in the future. Could you touch on that for a second?
Yes, the rumor of them renaming it the Carl DeForest Institute of Higher Learning evidently is not true. I introduced that rumor in the meeting, and it was quashed shortly after that. But that used to be the University Center, because Tri-C was there, University of Akron, Franklin University, and others. And as a result of COVID and going remote, a lot of those universities left because now they can just do it over the computer. So Tri-C is taking that facility, reevaluating the connectivity to the community. At the end of April, they'll have a very detailed report with feedback from the community of what they want to see, the business owners, what they would like to see, and they're going to change the name, change the operation moving forward, and we want to be an integral part of that because it serves our community, because you brought up at the meeting that 44212 zip code has the highest level of participation at that facility and the highest number of students going to the Tri-C facility. So we want to support them because they support our business community and our higher education goals here in the community as well.
So thank you for talking about how we're going to connect the community and how we look at this in a few years. Did we increase those connections? Did we work through those? Did we work with as many others as we could? And there was a lot of very exciting possibilities to both continue the good work we're doing and to do some very new, exciting projects. So thank you. I'm going to talk a little bit about the second item, which is quality of life. And the question is, our goal is, how have we made the lives of the residents of Brunswick better? So when we look back in 2 years and the end of 27, did we make everybody's life a little bit better? And one of the ways that we're looking at is we did a parks improvement plan. And this plan involved looking at all our parks and looking at how we could improve them and put detail, time, and attention. And we're really going to be putting a lot of effort into implementing that plan, including some paved parking lots, some updated things at different areas, and looking to create the first new park in the city in many, many years. More baseball fields at Grafton and North Carpenter. There's also the exciting possibility, and some of these goals do kind of overlap, but quality of life and connecting, but we've endeavored in a project called the BMW Trail, the Brunswick Medina Wadsworth Trail with Medina County Parks, and possibly increasing our green space and having a nice connected downtown campus, and to make sure that we work to improve the plowing of roads and to definitely making sure we get potholes repaired in the streets in a better condition, which we continually strive to do. So the next, so in 2 years, we'll look back and go, did we make people's lives better, whether it's your neighborhood park, your neighborhood street, or maybe a new exciting trail or a brand new park, or things that, you are able to work and live here in a way that, you feel very good about the community that you're here, and your life has gotten tangibly better from something we've done. And we're looking to meet that challenge. So far we've connected community, we're increasing the quality of life, and if City Manager DeForest, we could talk a little bit about the concept of smart growth, which is a thing that we've often talked about, but I don't know if we've ever put it out in the public this way. And I'll say what I think, and then I'll kind of let you go to what some of the details are. The idea that the community, there will be change, there will be things that grow, but to do it in a way that's responsible, to do it in a way appropriate for Brunswick and not for somewhere else. And so that concept is something we really think a lot about, but it's very explicit. So we know there will be new things in the next couple of years. And how is the City of Brunswick looking to do smart growth versus just letting anything happen?
So 2 words that come to mind is controlled nature, because if somebody came to council and the city administration said, we want more businesses, and then 2 years later we're pounding our chest saying, hey, we have 4 more massage parlors and 7 more vape shops, that's 11 in my head, 11 new businesses, they'd probably say, well, you're an idiot, and why did you do that? Because that's not stuff we need, that's not stuff we want. So we want to make sure that we're doing things that are complementary and good for the community. So we're talking about updating the city planning code so that we have structures that are being built to reasonable standards and signage and things of this nature that have progressed through the years, because some of our code hasn't been updated in 15, 20, 30 years. So we want to make sure that we do that. Advance the US 42 gateway, and that's Pearl Road. We need to enhance 42, the appearance coming into and leaving the city from both the north and south. That's something that we want to do, and it'll be beneficial not only to the community but to those passing through. We're looking at a major project at 303 and 42, which should kick off this year, redevelopment of approximately 20 acres, which will include a commercial component and residential component with apartments and cluster homes, repurposing the fire stations. Fire Station 1, which is right across the street here from where we're at now, has been repurposed for a parks building. Station 2, which is North Carpenter and Grafton, which is right near where we're going to build baseball fields. We've got to determine what we're going to do with that and do something that's complementary to the community or maybe even the county. But we don't want to just sell the piece of property for $100,000, put that in the bank and spend it on something else. Park additions, you've already recommended or referred to that. And again, that's quality of life issues, but we don't want to grow just for the sake of growing. We want to do it in a responsible way. Council recently went through the process of purchasing 2 significant portions of parcels on South Carpenter Road, just south of the VFW, approximately 15 acres. And the advantage for council doing that is now the city will own that property and will have development input into that property as we see development creeping south from Brook Park when the Browns move there to their new facility. And the property value is going to increase. And then if we own the property, we can have a little bit more significant input into the development. Are we going to have restaurants there? Are we going to have a hotel? What is actually going to be there, and how is that going to complement the residential area there and the commercial aspects that we're looking for? So we have to evaluate what we're doing, how we're doing it, and explore new economic ways to enhance the community. So smart growth, you don't want to just grow. I mean, if somebody says, hey, I want to gain 20 pounds, well, smart way would be gain 20 pounds of muscle, or you can just eat a bunch of pizza and ice cream and you're gaining 20 pounds. So we want to do it in a responsible, respectful way that's complementary to the community and what's already here.
I just want to highlight one thing. One thing you said is obviously there's some property acquisition around 71 by the city for the purposes that we have. We know there's a professional sports franchise coming down the road. We know that there's likely to be opportunities, and so we're ahead of it and making sure that we have a say in how things go forward in a way that works for Brunswick. Would that be accurate to say?
Absolutely.
That's called a leading question, I think.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Yes, sir.
But I just want everybody to make sure we're trying to get ahead of these issues and do things in a way that makes sense for the future, because we know we do have a good idea what's coming. We don't want to guess. We want to try to work towards that. So far, connected community, quality of life. Did we improve your quality of life? Did we appropriately handle how things come into this city in a way that works for Brunswick? And the last component, which is a very, very important component, but not always the most exciting one to talk about for everybody, but it is one of the most important things we do as a city, which is fiscal responsibility. We have been on a very significant financial plan where we don't make unnecessary or irrational expenditures. We don't overspend. We're very judicious on when we decide to even ever go to the voters for taxes. And what we talked about in there was to continue to that plan and to keep that plan. And for people watching, that also means that we do not have any tax levies or requests that are additional planned in 26 and 27. And so we're going to continue to look at how do we get more grant funding, how do we get more funds into the city from other sources. We've made requests from state budgets, federal budgets, and really allowing our representatives to do work and help us and help share in the successes and propel the community forward, but also in a fiscally responsible way. In the other ways, we also, in the last 2 years, this is looking forward, we added staff without raising taxes, and we will look to do so again when the numbers make sense and when that works. And we're not going to deviate from our financial plan going forward. So I think those are the 4 things that we're looking at, and we want the residents to be able to judge us. Did the city do something more to connect to others? Did it connect people, organizations together, connected community? 2, is your life better? Has something happened that I can point to? Like, for example, when we completed Plum Creek Trail, people point to that and go, that's really nice. That changed my life for the better. We want you to look back in 2 years and go, wow, we did something, like we made a new baseball field. We made a new park. We've done something nice in a neighborhood. 3, smart growth. When something comes into the city, does it fit? Does it add? And are we planning for the future? And 4, did we continue to meet the highest standards of fiscal responsibility? So those are the big 4 overarching goals. I appreciate everyone's time and attention in looking at it, and always happy to anyone wants to reach out any other questions. And I think we covered it, Carl?
Absolutely. We knocked it out of the park.
Well, thank you for watching, and feel free to contact. And it's always an honor and a privilege to serve this community. Thank you.